Hello everyone, and welcome back to a Medieval, where today we're going to do the final episode, The Void. Here it is. One tiny platform, a sword floating in the distance, a mana boost directly behind us at the start, into secret area. And let's move on. This whole episode's got a vibe that is unlike anything else in the game, and I really like it. I also had to turn off RDX because it's too pretty. There is a lot of little bits of purple mana all over this level as well, but there is also going to be a full purple mana pickup later, which is why I'm not really going to bother with too many of the purple mana, because full purple mana is all of it. That's all you ever need. So it's good to have. There is the Azure Orb right there, which we're just going to grab. The enemies in this place are a little bit different from what we've seen so far, I suppose. They have a decent chunk of health if you try to attack them with the sword, but they're actually one-shottable with the axe, which makes the axe very good in this particular episode. As long as you cannot take damage while you're using the axe, it is probably one of the best uses of the axe in the game. It's great. It's also very possible that you're going to miss some kills in this level, because in this level and the third level of this episode, if enemies fall into the pit, then they don't actually die and they just despawn, so they don't count as kills, and that's kind of unfortunate. Doesn't seem to be the case in the second level though, which is strange. The next enemy type is laser shooting plus sign, which you can actually attack with the axe as well. It's just not immediately obvious that you're hitting it, but eventually it explodes, and that again makes the axe fairly usable. The Celestial Claw, on the other hand, is barely going to be used here, so that is that's just the way it is. We've used it in plenty of episodes before, so it's not too bad. And in the third level, it is kind of nice to have, just for the sake of multiplying some kills every now and then. Now there is a full health pickup right here. You can get it by either wiggling a little bit over here. You can actually crawl underneath it if you just believe in yourself. It's just very easy to accidentally fall off the edge when you're trying to do this. Another method that you can use, and is probably the intended way, is by jumping down, like slowly lowering down and just falling onto the platform like that. But I find that the wiggling method works fine and generally doesn't go wrong. There is a purple mana over there if you want to walk all the way there, but I do not want to. There is going to be a third enemy type right here after we go into this strange looking room. It is a ball. It shoots tinier balls at you as projectiles. They die fairly quickly, and really any weapon works against them, though I don't love trying to melee them. And then we're just going to take the side path here to see if we can find a way out of this room. There is a big teleporter in the middle that will take you back to where you came from. But there is also a hole here, which I guess is also indicated by this big purple light, which I haven't actually noticed before, but you can use that to get out of here. A few more enemies to deal with. They do have a melee attack, they have a ranged attack as well, but if you just stay away from them, generally they'll die quite quickly. These ball enemies, if you kill one of them with the overkill effect of Volt, right, it will only kill one more afterwards. It's just how much health they have ultimately. But if you damage them a little bit, you can get a chain reaction going, which is nice. There is also a jumping puzzle here, which we're just going to skip by using the Celestial Claw. It's not really a jumping puzzle that you have to do, it's just for a secret area, but it does have that full purple mana that I was talking about. And I want that, and then we're going to just leave, because the regular method of doing this is kind of horrendous, and I don't really care for it. There we go, that's two already gone, and the third one is gone as well. What I mean with the normal way of doing it is that you can jump from planet to planet that is floating around this place. They are generally not very well lined up, so you're gonna have to wait for a decent amount of time for them to be in locations where you can actually jump on top of them, and quite frankly, I'm just really bad at it, so I don't really want to spend any more time trying to do that. Ultimately, the purple mana is worth it, so if you didn't grab it earlier, you can try and do the jumping puzzle. It's just kind of horrendous. You can also kill these enemies just by shooting them, obviously. As long as you're just continuously moving sort of towards them, they generally don't hit you, but it can be a little unpredictable for sure. They can get some bad damage on you. There is a full health pickup here, which we're actually just going to leave there for now. I'm going to damage them all a little bit. And then hopefully we can get one of those chain reactions going. Unfortunately, this one was too far away. That's the way it is sometimes. And then we're going to jump down to this enemy right here. The Celestial Claw also works fairly well against these plus signs, but oh, we only just have it, so there you go. We can go in two different directions here. We can go down there or over here. We're actually going to go over here first because you can more easily go back again. There is the Sorcerer creature. They have a ranged attack and a melee attack. They have a lot of health. And if you are... that could be bad. Okay, he's still here. Very good. If you just continuously move backwards a little bit, their melee attack will generally not hit you. You just have to take small steps backwards. But that melee attack is very damaging, so you do have to be a little bit careful of it. I was worried for a second there because sometimes those enemies clip through the floor, and then in this level they wouldn't be killable anymore. And there isn't really a good place in this level to fix that mistake either, so I'm just kind of hoping it doesn't happen. Now that we've killed all those enemies, I'm actually going to go back again and do a more or less similar thing in this downward section right here. We can try to use the Celestial Claw on some of these enemies. It's just, as you can see, it's not great. It's just not great. The Celestial Claw would probably actually work on these enemies fairly well. It's just that I don't really have a reason to do it. And there you go. Now, because we had skipped that health pickup earlier, I am just going to jump off this cliff because it teleports you back to where the balls were going up and down. And it means you can go all the way back for this health pickup a little bit later. And it honestly, I find it makes life a lot easier because once you have this much health, the rest of the level isn't too bad. So it certainly makes life a little bit more doable. I accidentally got soul power, but that was going to happen somewhere along the line, and I really don't have a place where I particularly want it, except maybe the end of the level, and quite frankly, I haven't figured out a way to do that. So, yeah, we're just not going to worry about it. It's not going to be the best use of soul power for sure, but, I mean, it is what it is. You might be able to get like 1 or 2 more kills out of it from enemies that die in one hit anyway, so yeah, very much not worthwhile. Follow the appearing platforms to go where you need to be. And there should be one enemy in the distance there, which we can take care of with Bolt Ride. There should be a couple more of those shadow creatures in this place as well. I think one more of those mages, yeah. And again, we're just going to keep moving backwards very slowly. And they keep trying to hit us, and they're failing repeatedly, which is lovely. There is a mana boost here. Getting it means that there isn't really a great way back beyond either teleporting back like that or jumping down. The thing is, you can go here, but I think I'm going to miss enemies if I do it in that particular way. I think, yeah, some enemies only appear if you actually take the regular road rather than jumping down like that. And it's very easy to miss some kills because of it if you do it like this. But knowing that, we're not going to miss those, and that makes it alright. I'm curious, how well does this work? Just to see as like a test, because they do get stunned for a while. That one might not be dead. No, he died eventually. I'm worried about these enemies every single time because it's so easy to miss kills because of stuff like that. But it worked out that time, which is good. Press the button to move onwards to the next strange jumping sequence where platforms just appear out of nowhere. We're just going to use the Azure Orb for these, I think. Because realistically, like, any weapon works against these. It's just that you have to watch out for their projectiles, really. And the ribbons are over there in the distance, along with the only message in the level here. It says leap. The letters in this are different from the rest of the game, which is... it makes it more difficult to translate. I have a theory about some of the characters, just not all of them. And it's kind of based on a lot of assumptions, but I'm feeling pretty okay about it. Ultimately, there's not that many interesting messages to my knowledge in this episode, but if there is, I missed them, so yeah, fair enough. With the ribbons, we're just gonna shoot over there a few times because, quite frankly, a lot of shadow creatures, very easy to take a bunch of damage, and killing them like that makes life a little bit easier. There's a full green man over there if you so desire, but I'm not particularly interested. We're just going to grab these little health orbs and then jump our way down to where we need to go. Having the ribbon so late with the full purple mana as well means you can just spam it on everything that moves here, because even after killing these enemies right here, we can press this switch and go up this swooshy place, and there's going to be another mana boost, and you can actually just leave this place with full mana on every weapon if you so desire. It just means that you either have to run to the exit or kill these 3 enemies with the axe, which is honestly not too bad, but I'm not really feeling it today. There we go. That's all kills, all secrets, all messages, 0 destructibles because I did not bother. And with that, we are going to move on. I love the atmosphere of this whole episode. It just looks gorgeous. The platforms appearing doesn't happen too much in the remaining levels, but it's a vibe and I like it. But that will take us to episode 7, mission 2. Hostile Paradox, and it brings another enemy type. It is an enemy type that shoots projectiles, and when you get hit by said projectile, it teleports you to the enemy, and they'll try to wail on you with melee attacks, and that can actually deal a pretty substantial amount of damage if you're not ready for it. And they're actually, once again, quite weak to the axe as well, so again, we're just going to be using that a lot for the remainder of this episode as well. If enemies fall in pits here, they do actually die. You don't always die, but there is some places where you can fall in a pit and be dead, which is mostly down to your own hubris, really, but it's technically possible. Watch out for the enemies that are coming our way here. There should be one here as well. Another one of these. Yeah, once they start wailing, they can be quite scary, so you do have to keep your distance a little bit, but again, they die very quickly to the axe, so generally not that big of a deal. Moving on though, let's grab this health right here, create some more platforms, and before we move on here, generally what you can do is get this enemy to like look at you a little funny, and then they'll oftentimes just jump off a cliff, and I'm gonna see if we can make that happen here. They're not really feeling it today, it seems, and I don't really want to jump down here either because it means that I have to walk all the way back. But I just want to see if we can make it happen at least once. There is a message over there as well. But it looks like I might not be feeling it today. That might work. If it says over... Yeah, there we go. It took a little bit of convincing, but it happened. This says it is watching, and I'm fairly sure the text just says message, which I'm guessing is just the default value. And then over here it says it is waiting. And with that, we can grab the secret mana boost that was very well hidden, and with that we can move on to grab some health and to continue with the rest of the level. The main downside of getting enemies to fall down, I guess, is that you don't get their souls, but there is a big legendary soul over here, and I kind of do like having the legendary soul here, I guess. Because there's a decent chunk of enemies here, as you can see. With the range attacks, they are actually kind of scary at times. They died fairly quickly. There's also a couple of these floaty boys, which we can destroy. And that's more or less what we're going to do with that, I suppose. There is a secret area in this place as well. You can press this button, and there will be a staircase here. What lies ahead is reaching for you. But we'll get that a little bit later, because ultimately our goal is to open that door right there. These are the destructibles, by the way. I didn't really mention it at all, but we're not going to bother too much during this episode. But yeah, our goal was to open that door. We can't currently go through that as it is closed, so we're going to this teleporter section. There is 2 more of these wizards. Once again, I don't know where they went. They just went up. That's not supposed to happen. Right. Okay, that's new. Usually, they both slam down and then they die, but this time they both went up instead. And we're just gonna see if we can rectify that situation, I guess. Alright, that's exciting. Anyway, we can either go through the yellow teleporter and go through the silver key door, which we don't currently have. We can go through the green teleporter, which takes us to this room, where the green teleporter takes us where we actually need to be. The yellow teleporter will just take us back again, I believe. And then this one takes us to a separate room with a couple of enemies inside it, which we're just going to try and deal with. I'm almost certainly going to have to, like, double kill some enemies, I think, because I don't really see another way of fixing that. It's probably fine. It's probably fine. Over here, some text that says green, green, yellow, yellow, which I also sort of base some of the characters on in terms of transcribing which one is which, because I'm pretty sure that just says green, yellow. And I'm hoping that's correct, and if not, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day, does it? It's only in this episode, and it is what it is. Moving on, though. Now that we know about green, green, yellow, yellow, we can destroy this laser shooting creature in the distance. Take a little bit of damage just for fun. And move on. Because now we know we have to go through the green teleporter and through the green teleporter. This will give us a key. And we can use that key once we go through the yellow teleporter, as the text implied. And that's exactly what we're going to do. The silver key door is right here. Let's go through that. This will take us to one enemy off in the distance right there, trying to teleport us to them, but I don't currently want to go there. Instead, we're just going to zap him to death and then jump over here to get the ribbons. Just a little bit earlier than we would otherwise get it, which is nice. With that, we could teleport it back in front of the silver key door once again, so we can actually go to that enemy that was shooting us from the distance. There is a bunch of health pickups here, but because we did not get that secret area, I'm not too bothered. The door is now open. I'm just going to try and grab these souls, because I'm going to need soul power later. Let's see if this doesn't kill me. Very nice. Let's go press that button, so we can go down the stairs and get our full health pickup. And with good spirits move forward to this cool looking spinny room. I do really like the way this looks. Any game that adds a room like this, it already gets just a little bit better, doesn't it? We can jump down. We can go in two different directions, either to stairs or we can go to this strange eyeball creature that's sitting on the edge here. You can jump on top of it. It'll make fun sounds. You cannot damage it to my knowledge. It will just knock you back every time you jump at it, and you'll take a little bit of damage, so probably don't do that too much, but it's fun, isn't it? And let's destroy any creature that happens to come our way on these stairs. Every time there is going to be a new set of stairs, we're just going to be jumping towards them, because it means we can go further up the stairs, and that is ultimately the goal of this whole expedition, to reach the top of the staircases. Did that one just jump off the edge? Maybe. Yeah, it says overkill. Very good. This place where I'm at right now, there was a bunch of tiny blue mana pickups. And you can use that as an indicator that you have to jump down here for another secret area. There's some mana for all your best weapons. There's some more eyeballs next to this teleporter. We're just going to go through it though, because it takes us back to the staircase section. And we're gonna just keep running back up them hills again, because we have to go all the way to the top of this staircase section right here. There is a big soul here somewhere as well, and I often forget where it is. I think it's over here. Might as well actually try to go for that. There we go. Jump to that, and then we should just be able to jump back on the staircases from here. Just give us a little bit more soul power, because, again, I'm gonna have to find a way to fix our little problem of enemies going up. Anyway, up the stairs. There's probably like one more enemy somewhere up here. There is the ribbons as well. Yeah, there he is. And from here, we can go up the stairs in the distance to create some more platforms to this cool looking room with gravity effects. And I love me some gravity effects. There's not that many. You can see a little bit off in the distance as well, and it's just a strange looking place altogether. And with our ribbons in hand, we can also destroy these three enemies with relative ease. Again, because we got the ribbons relatively late and we killed so much with the axe, we have a lot of ammo for it, so I'm not particularly concerned about that at all. Let's just grab every soul there is, press this button in the cool looking staircase room. Pressing that will open up the door. Hopefully we can kill some enemies like this. 4 of them, in fact. And generally, I just run through this. I'm not sure if that's such a good idea right now, because I think I want some of these enemies to... this is kind of awkward. I need to figure out what I want to use soul power on, and I don't think it's anything in this room. There is a legendary soul here as well, though. Now let's just give it a shot, actually. If we just run over here, and then use black hole there, and then just shoot it a bit, that'll probably work. And then we probably don't have to worry about that anymore, and it killed a whole bunch of enemies. And we can get that legendary soul in a little bit, which is good. There is a teleporter in the distance, right there, as you can see. You can rocket jump to it, but I tried it in a previous recording session and I died. In the sense that I missed the teleporter and then I just insta-died in the pits there. So it does happen occasionally, and that's sad. So instead, we're just going to press that, and we're going to shoot a whole bunch here as well, because when you press the button, it does actually spawn some more enemies as well. And we have ribbons to shoot, which are working very well against these enemies, as you can see. And it took care of all the danger, which is good. We're going to take that. There's nothing underneath these stairs, just making sure. And with that, we can go to the final section of this level. It is a whole bunch of buttons that we have to press. There is going to be a couple more of those teleporty enemies as well, which you have to look out for a little bit, but against Soul Power Axe, they don't do a whole lot. There we go, that's button number 1. Let's see if we can get a few more kills here with our Soul Power. Does seem alright, and then we can just keep moving on. There is a big door right here that says shortcut back to the beginning area. If we press it, it's a teleporter. If you want to go back to where you came from, it could be useful if you need like some extra bullets or health or whatnot that you haven't picked up yet. It's a good way to get some secrets if you missed them as well, so all in all quite nice. Press the switch. It will make enemy appear, I believe. Not sure where. Usually I just shoot ribbons. And then before you know it, all the danger's gone. Next to that, there is another switch right here. I think that's the last one. Once again, just gonna shoot wildly because I'm not particularly concerned about my ammo. That one just left. So strange. And with that, we can go to the final couple of enemies that are waiting at the exit right here. Just a couple of those plus signs, no worries. We have plenty of kills. I'm guessing we're missing 2. No, they just left. Alright, well, I'm not gonna worry about it. They just decided to leave, and our mistake was rectified, so ultimately, we didn't really miss out on anything. Let's just leave the level and move on to Episode 7, Mission 3. The Enigma Gate. And once again, this is a level where you're probably just gonna miss kills at the end of it, because where in level 1, it was kind of doable to keep them in the stage, in this level, they want to leave, and we're definitely gonna just use the black hole to create some shenanigans there. If these enemies jump, there's a decent chance one of them just fails the jump and falls in the pit and is gone. You can go a long distance all the way over there, but in the end, there's just nothing there. To my knowledge, at least. Nothing that I could find anyway, and we're just gonna leave that alone. As fun as it is, it does look very cool. It's a very red level, which we haven't really seen in the rest of this episode so far. And I appreciate that. Small little jumping puzzle, nothing that can really go wrong here. If you fall down, I believe you just get teleported back again, so it doesn't really matter too much. And we're just going to get on top of this elevator, all the way at the top of these swirly passageways, onto whatever that is. Such an interesting looking chapter this is. There is a legendary soul right there. We're gonna grab that a little bit later for the purposes of destruction of the enemies. But for now, we are just going to move on. It is kind of nice to have that legendary soul though for this next fight, because this next fight is kind of tricky with the enemies that you're facing here. There is a couple of enemies at the top there that are generally just sort of stuck, but they will be using their ranged attacks at you. 2 of these wizards at the same time, which is fairly fiddly to try and fight with the axe, unless you keep your distance like this. I'm just gonna circle around and hope they miss me with their melee attack the entire time. Occasionally one of these enemies will jump down, and that is a little bit scary. But if you just switch to the axe before they get close to you, then it's generally not a big deal. The sword does remove their projectiles, which I do find makes this a fairly usable strategy. I don't love using the Celestial Claw just for the purposes of that it can knock them back off of the level if you're particularly unlucky. So I'd rather just not worry about that and shoot them from a distance and move on with our rocket launcher in hand for the next fight. I'm not sure if I want to use the rocket launcher. Well, I guess I kind of want to keep some planets for shenanigans later. So we're actually just going to leave that alone. Pressing the switch, there's going to be some more of these standard type enemies. There's going to be some more wizards in the distance, which we'll deal with in just a moment. Let's just deal with these first, and then we'll try to replicate what we did before with the other two wizards. And just make sure they don't accidentally no-clip through the floor, which is a very surprisingly common thing to happen, but it's going alright so far. That's one of them. For some reason, they're not trying to attack me at the same time, which I can appreciate. You can see them trying to do their melee attack, but I'm just like barely out of range the entire time, which I just like. I like that a lot. I like that it's an option. Grab the Celestial Claw. Let's just axe these as well. Come on. I like to axe these because the next enemies require a little bit more finesse. Shooting these from a distance like this, it kind of works. And then the next one is another one of these laser creatures, which again, the Celestial Claw's generally alright at. There we go. And with that, we can jump down, open the door behind us. We can grab the ribbons, which we have very little ammo for, but certainly enough to create one black hole. There is some health on the sides of these platforms. And we're just going to go back a little bit to try and get soul power from that legendary soul that we didn't pick up earlier. And then hopefully, if all goes well, it's not going to be misery. If we're going to miss kills at the end of the game, I mean, I guess that's fine, but I really would like to avoid it since we've done everything else. Even the levels where you technically can't get 100% kills. After getting the legendary soul, let's just jump back down on this platform. I don't recall if you can actually get back up normally, but this certainly works well enough, I would say. The platform's close enough anyway, and it doesn't take that long. So you might as well enjoy the brief pause you have before the action starts. Let's go through the teleporter, and let's hope this works out. Alright, I'm just gonna run forward. We're gonna shoot one of these. And we're gonna... Ooh, I'm very close to it, but I think we got so many enemies there that it's fine. There is also a bunch more enemies if you move a little bit further forward, and I would like to deal with a lot of these with our soul power still. And that seems to have worked out wonderfully. And that's all the danger gone, and I'm guessing we're not going to miss any kills because of that action, which is good. There is a couple of large purple mana pickups in this big room. I'm just going to go grab everything because, quite frankly, we're going to need a lot of ammo where we're going. So it's just nice to stock up here with all these large mana pickups. We have 10 shots for the ribbons right here, which is good. There is a secret area underneath this platform if you jump down this middle one and stick to that side. We'll get that later. It's a big health pickup. I don't want it right now. Instead, first we're going to go to the right side. This is not how you do it. This is how you fall. But that was just an example. Instead, we're going to try that again. This time without failing the, quite frankly, not difficult jumping puzzle. And keeping the ribbons in hand because, again, there is a lot of enemies here, and it's very easy for them to fall off a cliff. Which is why I'm using this weapon so aggressively, because I do want to have ammo for it for later enemies. It's just that, God, those enemies are the dumbest creatures. They are so capable of just ruining my day by just leaving, and it happens surprisingly frequently. Pressing the switch will be 2 more to go, and our favorite friend that we have seen in the previous episode has come back. It's a boss. Only one of them this time, but I do want to have some shots of this weapon available because it is such an effective way. It's staying close, which is nice. We hit him 4 times. I'm just going to see if we can do the rest with Volt right here because it has such nice range, and there we go. Also, this place, again, looks quite gorgeous. It looks kind of unlike anything else we've seen before, and it's a very ominous look at what we're going to be going towards, which I quite appreciate. Moving on though, let's just see if we can deal with a small barrage of enemies right here. I do like using the axe for this, but it occasionally goes very wrong. And right now, we're at 36 health, so that's why I like to do that little section first before going for this secret big health pickup. Because doing it in this particular order, I just find works out. You could probably make Volt Right work against those enemies. I honestly don't know how big of a chain reaction you can get with Volt Right against those enemies, just because the axe works so well against them that I just haven't really tried. Let's just shoot a couple of these. Hopefully we can get a cool, really big chain reaction going. Yeah, there we go. That's cool. I love it when that happens. It's a little tricky just because you have to set it up so much, but if you can get it to work, then it obviously works quite well. Go towards the big looking thing in the distance right here. Yeah, there should be a couple more of those enemies coming our way. I can try it again. I don't feel very confident about this particular one, but let's see what we can make happen. Nice, very good. And maybe we can get soul power from this point, which actually wouldn't be too bad. Because it is kind of nice to have soul power for the next fight that's coming up. Let's just try and grab a couple of these. We'll just have to... let's try this one more time. Alright, there we go. Very good that we got both. Go all the way up the thing, get blocked by a wall, and then go in the other direction until you get blocked by yet another wall. It's nice that they added those walls at the end because it means you can just keep holding forward without really a care in the world. Up until the point where you reach the end. And even then, I don't think you have to actually jump, but I do like jumping just in case. One large purple mana for that sequence right there. There is one more button. When we press that, another one of those two bosses arrives. We're actually going to ignore it for just a little bit. Because I want to go through the newly opened portal that opened up after we did all that, because I don't want to use soul power against it. Game calls us a fool. We fall down. We cannot escape. If you stay here, you will just keep falling down, so let's just leave instead. It is actually surprisingly easy to escape. Or so we thought. With soul power in hand, we are going to attack as many of these as possible, but most of them are just going to be clipping through the floor there, as you can see. So instead, we're just going to see what we can make happen here. There is a bunch of mana in this particular room, and maybe we can get just a whole bunch of them in one black hole. And then we're just going to run off into the distance here for one more black hole. I guess it's no longer a black hole, but that works actually. And then we just have to deal with this final enemy. We can use all of our purple mana. And that is exactly what we needed. Surprisingly enough, we have 115 out of 102 kills. There's actually a decent chance that we didn't miss anything, which is surprising to me because, well, there's a lot. There's a lot that can go wrong, and I think most of them actually managed to stay in the level, which I'm actually quite happy about. Anyway, let us move on to this button, and pressing that will take you to whatever this is. We currently are not in control anymore, we're just moving forwards. And that concludes that level. That honestly went a lot better than I expected. I very frequently miss like the double kills in that black hole in that one section. It's just kind of tricky to get the shot off, but it worked out at that time, and I can appreciate that. Either way, let's go on to the final mission of the main campaign. The Dark Heart. There it is. There is a mana boost directly in front of us. There's all the weapons that we ever could have wanted waiting for us on this little platform. There is one secret area right here. And it's the only one in the level. There is like 10 destructibles, which we can just get right from the get-go here with our sword. If we can just get a couple in one shot, that would be lovely. Let's just get all destructibles for good time's sake. There we go. That is 12 destructibles destroyed. Moving on. That's all 5 messages.
This is the heart of all evil, champion. We are with you.
Yeah. And there is the final boss. And the way this boss works is there is 4 of those things, braziers, not sure what they are. Each of them can give you mana. Each of them can give the boss a special attack. Our weapons generally don't deal damage to them unless we are in soul power, but if we damage the boss, then we get a lot of soul power, as you can see. If he acquires green mana powers, then he's going to shoot a laser behind us that slowly follows us around through his face. If he has the blue one, which we should see in a second, then he will shoot just a whole bunch of projectiles just all over the place. Not really the worst attack for sure. If we stand next to these braziers, we are actually getting ammo for said color mana as well, which is really nice. The purple one, it goes Bayonetta style black holes with arms coming out of it, and he just tries to punch us a whole bunch. And then this one, which I'm hoping I don't die to because I frequently do, throws just everything he can find, like a whole solar system. He just throws that at you without a care in the world. Now this enemy is actually surprisingly weak to blue mana soul power, so that's exactly what we're largely going to use here. He's going to mostly just use mana that we're close to, so we're mostly just going to try to make him use blue and green mana because it's the easiest to avoid. I grabbed as much purple mana that I can get because you get so much soul power out of it by using just the ribbons like 1 or 2 times there. And as long as you're moving, the green damage, the green attack doesn't really hurt you at all, so that's exactly what we're going to try to do here. The blue attack, you're generally quite safe, as long as you're just behind the thing. So you can actually more or less crouch for safety here and you'll often be fine. And we're just going to try to do this nice and carefully. I think you can fall down here, it's just that you take a decent amount of damage. If you do, so I'd rather avoid it, obviously. And there is also a full health pickup right behind him right now, if you want to get that. So there is some options for sure. Let's just shoot him a few more times here. And after that, we are going to get ourselves just a little bit more blue mana. We should have plenty of purple mana for the whole fight by just going there once. So that's exactly how we are going to use that. Try to avoid the many projectiles one more time. It doesn't deal that much damage either if you only get hit by one, so it's not too bad for sure. Now once he is at low enough health, he will actually briefly be invulnerable again. Which as you can see, his health has become purple, and that means we cannot damage him anymore. He gets all of the different mana types in his little body there. And then we're going to see if we can just deal a little bit more damage. He destroys a whole bunch of platforms. You can still get mana, and he's starting to use this sort of black hole looking attack that we're just going to nip in the bud real quick because I find it difficult to avoid. I don't really understand it, so we're just gonna attack him down instead until he's almost dead. We grab our axe and we slam him to pieces, as is frequently seen in the intermission screen.
No, you shall not fall today.
And that more or less concludes Amid Evil. We have destroyed the final boss, and just a little bit more to go.
Welcome, champion. Please, join us.
We are in the Haven of the Ancients. There isn't a whole lot to do here, but there's some interesting things to look at for sure. If we go over here, the Pool of Prophecy. If we look into the Pool of Prophecy for a little bit, we can see something we might play in the future at some point. I'm not sure if this is going to be part of the Black Labyrinth expansion, but we'll find out whenever that comes out. We can go to some people over there, but instead let's first go down the stairs to the Shrine of the Developers. And we can see all the developers' autographs on the wall in nice gold paint. And it looks quite nice. I believe you also get an achievement for going to this room. So if you are missing this particular achievement, there it is. Few more people to look at. And with that, we can jump down into the hole in the middle and arrive back to where we came from, to see the end.
We are eternal. You have proven yourself worthy. Thank you, champion.
And I believe these are some of the bosses that we have faced as well, but we can press fire to end our quest. You can also jump into fire and you'll slowly die, but don't do that. And there you go.
And so now you may rest, champion. With the evil vanquished, we have restored our sacred lands and returned their inhabitants. You may remain here in our haven, or continue on your journeys. The universe awaits.
And that concludes the game. That is the end of the main campaign of Amid Evil. There is still the demo, the RTX demo level that we haven't played yet, which I'll probably get around to at some point. But that was more or less it. I really like this game a lot. There's our main character sitting to the left over there with helmet in hand. All the people that worked on the various things that created this. This game's so gorgeous. I really, just as like an art piece, I really love it. As a game, I really enjoy it as well. Genuinely do recommend it. It's kind of got its own thing going, which I really appreciate. Like, you can see like some very clear inspirations to the game, but it's definitely just doing its own thing the entire time, and it's got a lot of cool aesthetic things going on. Is all the enemies are different in every single episode, and you honestly rarely get lost playing this as well. It's surprisingly linear, but still a lot of exploration to do as well in terms of secret areas and stuff and all the messages and things. It's just really cool. And at the very end of the credits, a thing appears in the background there, which might be a thing for later, I suppose. But that concludes the game. So I hope y'all enjoyed it. Next time we play, I'll probably get around to doing the final level in the game. If we go to the main menu here and go to Quest, we can do Lost Falls. There is also Hordes of Evil, which is a horde mode. I don't know if I'm going to do that, but it's there. I might give it a shot at some point, but no plans as of yet. But I hope y'all enjoyed it. Next time, we'll hopefully get around to Lost Falls, and I hope to see y'all there. Bye-bye.